Family members of one of the victims killed tells us they're putting a pause on the investigation, and right now their main focus is on honoring their loved one.
We want to remember her memory, and what she loved.
Because I never thought that was going to happen. The shooter shot through the window.
So we are hearing this morning from a mother who ran inside the school in Uvalde, Texas to protect her kids. She says that police held her back.
You're going to have to arrest me because I'm going in there, and I'm telling you right now, I don't see none of y'all in there. Y'all are standing with snipers and y'all are far away. If y'all don't go in there, I'm going in there.
Guys, I just want to start off this video with a moment of silence for every single life lost in the Uvalde, Texas school shooting that just happened last week. Now, going straight from that, I wanted to actually outline the exact timeline of which every single situation that unfolded that day happened. And I want to give the facts of exactly what happened with reliable, reputable sources rather than the mainstream media just blaming the cops.
You find a way to prevent an attack after it occurs.
Blaming guns or blaming the people.
Our kids are living in fear every single time they set foot in a classroom because they think they're going to be next. We do nothing.
It's different factors that led to the situation that we had. 19 people died in that situation.
And updated to now, it is actually 21 people that got killed.
We know that for certain. It's not just the gun that did it. It's not the gun at all. Guns don't just kill people on its own. Knives don't just kill people on its own. So gun control does not help. Look at Chicago, look at New York, look at every other major city that has gun control. It does not work in that situation. Gun control does not stop mass shootings. Period. It does not work. Look at the data.
Breaking news. For the third time in a week, a law enforcement officer has been shot in Chicago.
Look at Chicago. Look at all of the other sources, and you will see that it does not work at all.
Now, without further ado, let's begin with the Texas Uvalde timeline of exactly what happened during that day.
Sometime after 11 a.m., Ramos shoots his grandma in the face, according to Texas Public Safety Director Steve McCarr. Gilbert, which is 82, who lives across the street from Ramos and his grandmother, heard a shot as he was in his yard. He runs to the front and sees Ramos speed away in his pickup truck and Ramos's grandmother coming toward him pleading for help. Covered in blood, she says, "Burrito," which is his name, "This is what he did to me. He shot me," according to Gilbert, whose wife calls the police to report the shooting. At 11:27 a.m., video shows a teacher, whom authorities haven't publicly identified, propping open an exterior door of the school. At 11:28, the teacher exits to retrieve a phone and then returns through the exit door, which remains propped open. It's not clear why the teacher was retrieving a phone. Department of Public Safety spokesperson Travis said Thursday that investigators hasn't determined why the door was propped open. At 11:28 a.m., Ramos crashes the pickup truck into a drainage ditch behind the school. Two men at a nearby funeral home hear the crash and run out to see what happened. They see Ramos jump out of the passenger side carrying an AR-15 style rifle and a full bag of ammunition. The men run and Ramos fires at them, but it doesn't hit them. One of the men falls, but both make it back up to the funeral home. A panicked teacher then emerges from the school and calls 911. At 11:30 a.m., 911 receives a call saying that there was a crash and men with a gun are at the school. At 11:31 a.m., Ramos begins shooting at the school from the school parking lot as police cars begin to arrive at the funeral home. Ramos then makes his way around the school building. The school district police officer who was working that day wasn't on campus at this time, contrary to previous reports. The officer drives to school immediately, quote unquote immediately, after getting the 911 call and approaches someone at the back of the school who he thought was the gunman.
As the officer quote unquote sped toward the man, who turned out to be a teacher, McCross said the officer drove right by the suspect, who was hunkered down behind the vehicle.
At 11:32 a.m., Ramos fires multiple shots at the school and then makes his way toward the open door. At 11:33 a.m., 5 minutes after crashing the pickup truck, Ramos enters the school and begins shooting into two adjoining classrooms, 111 and 112. McCross said he fires more than 100 rounds. At 11:35 a.m., 3 city police officers enter the school through the same door that's still propped open, are later followed by 4 other police officers. McCross said, putting a total of 7 inside the building. 2 officers receive gazing wounds from Ramos. At 11:37 a.m., gunfire continues, with 16 rounds being shot in total. McCross said it's unclear who fired the shot. At 11:51 a.m., A police sergeant and other law enforcement begin to arrive. At 12:03 p.m., a female, age unknown, calls 911 and whispers that she's in classroom 112. The call lasts 1 minute and 23 seconds. At 12:03 p.m., officers continue to enter the school with as many as 19 officers in the hallway near the room where Ramos is held up. At 12:06 p.m., Anne Marie, a spokeswoman for Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District, posts on district's Facebook page, all campuses are currently under lockdown status. Uvalde CISD parents, please know that at this time all campuses are under a lockdown status due to gunshots in the area. The students and staff are safe in the buildings. The buildings are secure in lockdown status. Your cooperation is needed at this time by not visiting the campus. As soon as the lockdown status is lifted, you will be notified. Thank you for your cooperation.
You know what that is? A little something I like to call a lie. Why would the spokesperson for the school district post on their Facebook a blatant lie, knowing that parents are going to be looking at the Facebook for live updates of the situation that's happening within the school? If there's another person to blame during this situation, it's the spokesperson for the public school system of Uvalde, Texas. Why would she post on the Facebook page for the public schools a blatant lie?
At 12:10 p.m., the female, age unknown, who called 911 at 12:03 p.m., calls 911 again, says that there's multiple people dead. She calls again at 12:13 p.m. and then again at 12:16 p.m. Total of 4 different times, when she says there are 8 to 9 students alive. At 12:10 p.m., the first group of Deputy U.S. Marshals from Del Rio arrive from nearly 70 miles away to assist the various other law enforcement officials already on the scene. At 12:15 p.m., U.S. Border Patrol tactical team members arrive with shields.
At 12:19 p.m., another girl in room 111 calls 911 and ends the call when a fellow student tells her to hang up.
At 12:21 p.m., Ramos fires his gun again, and officers believe he's at one of the doors of one of the adjoining classrooms. Police move down the hallway. At 12:21 p.m., 3 shots can be heard during a 911 call. Around this time, police are stuck in the hallway because both classroom doors are locked, and they must seek keys from a school employee. That's sad. That's a sad, sad day that police officers don't have the resources to break through the door themselves. They need to go and ask a school employee, a school teacher that's currently under lockdown, for keys to open up the room that there's students and teachers both being killed and shot alive. At 12:36 p.m., a child calls 911 for 21 seconds. Around this time, a girl calls 911 and is told to stay in the line and stay very quiet. McCross said, the girl says he shot the door. At 12:43 p.m., the girl urges the 911 dispatcher to please send the police now. 12:46 p.m., the girl says she can hear the police next door. At 12:47 p.m., she asks 911 to please send the police now. 12:50 p.m., officers open the doors with keys from a school employee, enter the classroom, and kill Ramos. Shots can be heard over the 911 call. At 12:51 p.m., officers can be heard moving children out of the room. At 12:58 p.m., law enforcement radio chatter says Ramos has been killed and siege is over, said Victor Elskin, Regional Director of Texas Department of Public Safety. So this is from the AP. This is a map of the school right here.
The main thing that people are not realizing is that there was hundreds of red flags before this event even took place. The most prominent one was that 30 minutes prior to Ramos shooting his grandmother in the face, he actually posted on Facebook that he was going to do so. And then following that, he also posted that he was going to shoot up the elementary school. And then on top of that, there was red flags of him actually cutting his face, showing up to what used to be his friends at a park, and then them questioning exactly what happened. And then he admits to the fact that he cuts himself and they do nothing. I'm not blaming other people for what he did, and that should not be the case. Other people do not have the responsibility of that one person. Ramos's actions should not be accepted by other people. Yes, I understand that, but it's still the fact of we as a society, we as a community should focus on other people too. We shouldn't just be keeping ourselves in our little bubble and ignoring all the other things going on in our life. If there's somebody that needs help and they're giving signs that they need help, then we need to focus on those people and actually get them the help that they need. And also the fact that when he was in middle school, he used to be bullied for having a lisp and talking a different way. So I'm not blaming bullies or saying that bullying actually turns students into mass shooters, but it's still the simple fact that this is a red flag, this is a red flag, this is a red flag. How many red flags do we need to say, no, wait, this person should not be trusted with a gun? If you're inflicting self-harm on yourself, then you obviously do not have the ability to protect yourself. So what makes you think you have the ability to protect other people and be trusted in a society with a deadly weapon? And on top of this, what makes you think that gun laws are actually going to help? First of all, he violated 3 different gun laws that I can come up with on the top of my head, and he probably violated more. The first one is that it is a federal law to carry guns on school property. That's number 1. Number 2 is that in the state of Texas, you are not allowed to carry a handgun if you are under the age of 21. He carried a handgun. And number 3 is that it is a federal crime to kill people. So if he violated 3 different laws and regulations, then what makes you think that imposing more laws and regulations are going to stop him or other mass shooters in the future? It just does not make sense. And also the fact that police showed up to his house multiple times because of the fact that he used to have really heated arguments with his mother. His mother and him, Ramos and his mother, did not have a really good relationship at all. His mother did drugs. He was going through some mental problems because of the fact that he was bullied, because of the fact that he was very alone. He could not have any friends in real life, so he actually turned to online, and he only really had online friends that really didn't really care about him. Also, the fact that if the cops already knew that he had mental problems because of the situations that he has been through, then why was it not shown up at the background check? This is another thing that people are not admitting to. He had to go through a federal background check to get the guns, to get the ammo, to get all of the things that he used to kill those 19 kids. So why is it that we still trust background checks to do our bidding for us when we can turn to other measures that are way more successful than relying on a background check? If he passed the background check in flying colors and he still carried on this mass shooting of 19 kids, elementary school kids, then what makes you think that imposing more regulations and imposing more background checks are going to help the situation? It is not. The solution that we need to impose is that schools need to have one entrance and one entrance only. Also, schools should have multiple exits, so you cannot enter through those exits at all. It is a one-way street. And cops with guns deserve and need to be outside of schools to provide safety and security to those schools. With cops outside of schools, with these security measures implemented, we will see a decrease in these amount of mass shootings. Banning guns, taking away guns from law-abiding citizens are not going to help the situation. If you look at the data and if you look at the facts, if there is a gun present at the time of a shooting, then the shooting is known to cause a lot less killings at the end. Just because a weapon is used to kill hundreds of people does not mean that we need to go out and ban it, because that is not the solution. The security is the solution. The red flags are the solution, but not the red flag laws that we have now, because those are not working, obviously. The red flag laws that our community will look after. The red flag laws that will bring back society to what it used to be, that people used to care about each other, and that is not what we have right now. People could care less about each other. You don't even know what your neighbor's name is. You don't even know who your neighbor is. And nobody cares about each other anymore. And that is a problem with society. You will see somebody that cuts themselves and you'll say, it's okay. It's just mental health. It should not be just boiled down to mental health. We need to get those people that have mental health problems help, and the help that they need. We can't just accept the fact, oh, well, this person cuts their face. No, we need to get them the mental help that they need. And if they really are not mentally sound, then we need to get them to a place that they are going to be mentally sound with solutions that we have publicly available. So if Ramos is such a danger to himself by cutting his face, what makes you think that he can be out in society just willy-nilly and have a gun at that? No, you should not be having access to any guns, he should not be having access to any knives, and he should not be having access to a school, in an elementary school, to hundreds of students. And why is it that we have to rely on a Border Patrol agent that is coming from 70 miles away to kill the perpetrator inside of the elementary school? Why? There's many questions that we have to have answers to. Why is it that the cops waited outside for 30 minutes while 7 cops entered the building? Why? It just doesn't make any sense. We have many questions but not enough answers. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this research that I put into this topic. Thank you all for watching, thank you all for enjoying, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day. And before I go, I also want to give one final moment of silence for every single student and every single teacher. I would like to do a moment of silence for the one Border Patrol agent that risked his life that day to prevent many, many more students from dying. Thank you all, and have a great one.